honorable guests, esteemed colleagues, and fellow countrymen. Today, we gather beneath the same azure sky that has witnessed the thousand-year story of our archipelago, a story written in the indelible ink of courage across the parchment of time. The West Philippine Sea, that vast expanse of sapphire and pearl that cradles our shores, now trembles beneath the shadow of aggression. Its waters whisper both warnings and wisdom to those who would listen. The West Philippine Sea is ours, by right, by law, by legacy, and by love. And as our forefathers guarded it with their lives, so shall we guard it with our courage, our wisdom, and our unwavering spirit. When I gaze upon these waters, I see more than strategic importance or territorial disputes. I see the reflection of our ancestors' eyes, the same eyes that watched foreign ships approach our shores centuries ago. I hear the same whispers of concern that passed between villages when invaders came. The spirit of resistance that coursed through our heroes now courses through us. A current of defiance that cannot be dammed. A river of courage that cannot be diverted. I put my foot down against this encroachment and build upon it our sovereignty. A sovereignty that will stand tall forevermore. Our history is not merely recorded in books. It is etched into the very soul of our islands. It flows in the currents that carried our forefathers' dreams and in the winds that carried their cries for freedom. Remember Lapu-Lapu, whose defiant spirit still echoes across the shores of Mactan, where the salt of the sea mingled with the blood of patriots. Recall the thunderous voice of Andres Bonifacio, whose rallying cries tore through the darkness of colonial oppression like lightning across a stormy night. Remember Jose Rizal, whose pen proved mightier than the sword, whose final walk to Bagumbayan transformed him into an immortal star in our constellation of heroes. Recall Emilio Aguinaldo, who raised our banner of independence with hands trembling not with fear, but with revolutionary fervor. Remember Gabriela Silang, who rode like a fierce tempest across Ilocos, her widow's garments transformed into armor of defiance. They all embodied the sacred covenant. Huwag maging dayuhan sa sarling bayan, never be strangers in our own land. This promise, this oath, flows in our veins as surely as the waters of our ancestral seas. We must embrace the sacred fire of our ancestors, who offered their lifeblood drop by precious drop until their final breath, until their bodies became the fertile soil from which our sovereignty now blooms eternal. In the face of this assault, we must be like the bamboo, flexible yet unbreakable, bending with the winds of diplomacy, but never breaking from our principles. We must extend our hands in peace while keeping our spine straight with resolve. Our voices must rise in the international community, not as shouts of anger, but as clear and resonant tones of justice, appealing to law, reason, and truth. As we stand at this precipice of history, let us remember, we are not merely defending territory. We are preserving identity. We are not just protecting resources, we are safeguarding heritage. The West Philippine Sea is more than water. It is the cradle of our civilization, the mirror of our soul, and the legacy we pass on to generations yet unborn. Today, that covenant is tested in the crystalline waters of the West Philippine Sea. These waters, once symbols of life and abundance, have become a stage where sovereignty dances precariously with ambition. Each artificial island that rises from the depths is not merely concrete and steel, but a scar upon the ocean's face, a wound upon our collective dignity. Deep within our collective heart, we know this struggle transcends politics and diplomacy. It is about the eternal right of a people to determine their destiny, to sail their own waters, to fish in their own seas, and to call their land their own without fear or hesitation. To our youth, the inheritors of this legacy, both beautiful and burdened, I say, look to the horizon where sea meets sky, and see there the limitless possibilities of your future. Carry in your hearts not only the knowledge of our past, but also the fire of our continuing story. You are the living embodiment of our ancestors' dreams and the guardians of our tomorrow. Let the world hear our voice, not as a whisper, but as a roar that echoes across the waters, across continents, and across time itself. Let us stand united as one people, one nation, one Philippines, indomitable and inseparable. For in the end, when history records this chapter, let it be written that when faced with a challenge to their sovereignty, the Filipino people rose like the morning sun, radiant, unyielding, and eternal. That we looked adversity in the eye and saw not defeat, but destiny. That we claimed our birthright not with arrogance, but with the quiet confidence of a people who know their worth and their place among nations. They built artificial islands in the wake of ambition, not knowing that the strength of a people is not measured in concrete and steel. And those islands, built against the will of justice, could not stand against the tides of truth. Guided by the hand of God, sustained by his boundless love, and called to be an olive branch of peace in troubled waters, we move forward with faith. Our hope rests not in the might of nations, nor in the wisdom of men, but in God alone, whose divine providence has carried us through centuries of struggle and will light our path toward a future where justice reigns and our sovereignty shines eternal. Mabuhay ang Pilipinas! Mabuhay ang Pilipino! Magpakailanman!